Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Put this back. Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sitaram Hanuman ki, Gaunitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translated by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Transcendental Knowledge, text number 19. Yasya sarva samaramba kama sankalpavarjita jnanagni dagda karmanam tam aho panditam buddhaha. Yasya sarva samaramba kama sankalpavarjita jnanagni digda karmanam tam ahu panditam buddhaha. Yasya sarva sararamba kama sankalpavarjita jnanagni digna karmanam tam ahu panditam buddhaha. Yasya sarva sararamba kama sankalpavarjita jnanagni digna karmanam tam ahu panditam buddhaha. Word for word, Yasya, one whose, Sarva, all sorts of, Samramba, attempts, Kama, based on desire for sense gratification, Sankalpa, determination, Varijitaha, are devoid of, Jnana, or perfect knowledge, Agni, by the fire, Digda, burned, Karmanam, whose work, Tam, him, Ahu, declare, Panditam, learned, Buddha, those who know. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker from whom the reactions of work have been burnt by the fire of perfect knowledge. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. Because a person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities, it is to be understood that he has burned up the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such a perfection of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire, and such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to work. Om Agyanti Mandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chakshurmilita Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapita Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karam Rayam Dadati Swaprantikam Nama Om Vishnu Pranaya Krishna Pasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastata Chatarine. So this chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge, and in text 28 of this fourth chapter, it explains how Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all kinds of charities. So, people in India, there is a saying, Manav Seva, Madhav Seva. Service to mankind is service to Madhava, to service to Krishna. But that is incorrect, because there is a saying, what may be the public's opinion may not be God's opinion. The difference. Generally, people have this misunderstanding that they want to bring God to become their servant. They want God as the order supplier. But this is not a very elevated way of serving Krishna. The Vaishnava way is we see Krishna as a son. So when you see someone as a son, you want to serve the son. You want to look after the son. So the Vaishnava understanding is higher than any other understanding compared to Christianity or Islam. They want God as the order supplier. So the Vaishnava understanding is higher, that we want to serve Krishna to his pleasure. So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita how he is the center of all activities. Bhaktanam yagatapasam sarvalokam maheswaram suridam sarvabhutam gyatam samtim ruchiti. This is 529 Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is saying, I am the Lord and Master of all planets and demigods, I am the center of all sacrifices, and I am the best well-wisher of all living entities. So in this verse, in the third line, Suridam Sarvabhutanam, Prabhupada breaks down. He said there are three kinds of friends in this world. There is Bandhu, Mitra and Surit. So Bandhu means distant friend. People have many distant friends. Mitra means social friend who helps you in your work. And Surit is the best friend, because he's always helping you, giving you guidance within the heart. Without his sanction, you can't do anything. So, in 529 Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Samaham sarvabhuteshu namvetasya priya je prajantima bhakta chapi api aham. I am equal to everyone, I envy no one. So, Krishna's mercy is like the sun. The sunshine is going everywhere. So Krishna's mercy is for everyone. But those who take endeavor to serve Krishna, Krishna reciprocates with them in a special way. So that person can come back to him. And Prabhupada said in this morning's lecture, he said, for the neophytes, it's important to do deity worship, and the famous verse which was given, 647, right? You know the verse? 647? Okay, 647. Okay, this is okay. Okay, that's one verse anyway. So 647 is actually the beginning of end of the sixth chapter is a prelude to how to think of Krishna in all circumstances. So 647 verse says, Yoginam api sarvesam mad gatanda atmanam sadama bhajanta yomam samyukta tamo mataha. A old yogi is the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transloving services to me. He is the most independent me in yoga, and he is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So in chapter 7, Krishna elaborates on this verse, explaining how we can think of him in the material world. How Krishna says, I am the taste of water, I am the heat in fire, amongst aquatics I am the shark. Well, that's in chapter 10, but Krishna elaborated in chapter 7 how everyone can connect to him in the material world, how to connect to him. So, like he says, earth, water, fire, mind, intelligence, false ego, together these 8 constitute my seven material energies. Besides this almighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which compromises living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior energy. Then all created beings have their sources in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual. In this world, know for certain that I am the both the origin and the dissolution. O conqueror of wealth, there is no true superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strong on the thread. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, and the symbol Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in the ability, and I am the sound in ether and ability in man. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penance of all ascetics. O son of Pritha, know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the powers of all powerful men. Know that all states of being, be they in goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the control. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they are contrary, are within me. So we can see from this how Krishna is teaching us how he's pervading the material world through his energies. But for those who are aspiring to become advanced devotees, Krishna reciprocates directly with them. So Prabhupada gives an example of this point. He says, just like there are many women walking on the street, one cannot just approach a woman and say, you have to love me. You have to build up a relationship, then love comes like that. The same thing with Krishna. We serve Krishna, we understand who Krishna is. Like he's full of 6 opulences, wealth, strength, knowledge, beauty, wealth, strength, knowledge, beauty, fame, renunciation, wealth, strength, beauty, knowledge, renunciation, and fame, right? Fame. Huh? Yeah. I'll find it. It's in chapter 10. It's in chapter 10. I got it here. So he says, the word Bhagavan is explained thus by Parasar Muni, one who is full in 6 opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. So, in the material world, no person can have all 6 opulences at one time. They can have one opulence. Maybe 2, but not all. Krishna had all 6. So so we can see from this how Prabhupada explains in the 7th chapter, text 15, how Prabhupada, he says how only, in 4th chapter, text 6, he explains how only the demons reject Krishna. Krishna is well known throughout the universe. Everyone accepts who Krishna is. Only the demons reject his authority. So, so as devotees, we have a thankless task to educate these people about who Krishna is. And through education, like this Transcendental Knowledge 4th chapter, then even the demons can become devotees. In time, they can become devotees. And Krishna's reciprocation with the devotees is very intimate. Like I was reading the Gopal Champu yesterday, and they explained how when Nanda Maharaj had to go to Mathura to see Vasudeva, to pay the taxes to Kamsa, he looked at Krishna, child Krishna, and he asked for his blessing, and Krishna smiled. Then he went. The same thing with us. Before we do anything, we get permission from the deities. Before doing anything, we always get blessing from deities. Or like Lord Chaitanya, before he went to South India, he got a garland from Lord Jagannath given to him, like that. So, so we can see in this way how Krishna is very personal in his approach, in his reciprocation with devotees. Our qualities are similar to God's qualities. Like a drop of water from the sea, same in quality, just different in quantity. We have a little drop in our little palm, the sea ocean is vast. So if we study ourselves, we can understand who is God. Because we have similar qualities, just we are limited and Krishna is unlimited. For example, we perspire, sweat comes out. When Krishna perspires as Mahavishnu, unlimited universes come out. So that's the difference. Because we change our bodies from boyhood to youth to old age, we forget things. But Krishna never changes his body. His body is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. So whatever he does is on the spiritual platform, completely spiritual. So Prabhupada says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita preference, he explains that once we achieve spiritual perfection, we can also do similar things what Krishna does. Like Krishna eats with his eyes. So as you make advancement, you can see how even everything becomes less and less materially, and more spiritually you become advanced. You become more satisfied within. So Prabhupada was asked the question, how do you know if you're spiritually advancing? And Prabhupada gave the example. He said, when you eat and you're full up, you don't have to ask anyone for certificate. You know yourself, like that. So how to develop this love for Krishna? We have to practice to come to more goodness. mode of passion, in the beginning things are nice, but later on it becomes poison. Mode of goodness, things are like poison in the beginning, but nectar at the end. So in the beginning, practicing spiritual life may be difficult, coming from morning program, sadhana bhakti, chanting rounds, mangalarti, deity greetings, guru puja class. But this is part of the process to bring us to the level of prema bhakti eventually. People don't realize that actually taking shelter of a spiritual master is having real freedom. People generally think having the independence is real freedom, but that's actually bondage, because it binds you to karma. And karma, when you go through karma, good or bad, you feel incomplete. So by following the spiritual path, on the Guru Sadhu Shastra, taking guidance from advanced devotees, you feel complete. Like I was speaking to one of the security devotees, he was telling me, you may have seen it, he's got Gopal deity. You may have seen in his table, right? He keeps. I asked him, do you have any realization? He said, well, the deity actually came to me. And Gopal said, I've come to help you. Because he was trying to be a devotee, so Krishna thought, okay, in his circumstance he needs my help. And one time his devotee was in a sticky situation where he got into a mess. He had to earn money to someone, owe money to someone. He told Gopal, I'm in a sticky situation, please help me out. Some person came and said, I'll give you some money. I'll lend you some money. So, from this you can see how Krishna is very personal in his reciprocation with devotees. I think here one time someone came from a different sect, Swaminarayan sect, and he just came to the office upstairs to see the devotee. He gave 30,000 pounds. But the devotee is trying to get him to see the deities, take Mahaprasad. He didn't want anything. He said, I just came to get his money, that's it. So that shows how Krishna is directing everything. I think Rabindra Prabhu, he was saying how in one of the temples in America, they owed a lot of money. They were in some debt with the temple. And the owner said, unless you pay this, you have to leave the temple. So they came out. And the person came with a suitcase. He said, this is for you. And just the right amount, $500 or something. So it shows how Krishna is there to help the devotees. He knows our best interests. And then Prabhupada was asked a question one time that he asked the devotees a question, why have you surrendered to Krishna? One devotee said, well, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dhamma Parityajya Mamekam Samvaja Aham Tam Pape Mokshe Masacha. Give up all varieties of religions, surrender to me. I'll free you from all simple reactions. Prabhupada didn't accept that. Another devotee said, because you say Prabhupada didn't accept that. Third devotee said, because we're feeling Krishna's reciprocation. Prabhupada said, that's correct. Because without the reciprocation of Krishna, how can you give up all your bad habits? Not possible. So Krishna says, he reciprocates according to our surrender. Ye ye tama papadyante tam saya bhajamiham. Mam manumantate manusham patasavasa. Everyone follows my path in all respects. As they surrender to me, I respond to them accordingly. So, for those who have knowledge, it's easier for them to surrender to Krishna. For those who praying for material things, inquisitive, praying to overcome distress. It takes a little more time for them to come to the line of pure devotional service. But better to give up all kinds of material desires, because this will impede our going back to Godhead. It will make it longer for us to go back to Godhead. And it will bind us to the material world for a longer time. There was an interesting story in Chaitanya Mangal by Lochan Das Thakur. And he gives an interesting story how one time there was a poor Brahmana in South India. And this Brahmana, the family rejected him because he was poor. So he didn't know what to do. So many people told him, go to Jagannath Puri. So he went to Jagannath Puri. And this is when Lord Chaitanya was on the planet. So this Brahmana, he was seeing Lord Chaitanya every day. But he couldn't recognize who Lord Chaitanya was. But he went to Lord Jagannath to take darshan. And he prayed to Lord Jagannath that, I'm poor, give me some opulence. And Brahmana made a vow, if you don't give me opulence, if you don't reciprocate with me, within 7 days I'm going to enter the ocean and leave my body. So on the 7th day, he went to the ocean, he prayed to the ocean, give me a space, I want to enter. And as he was going, he saw someone coming out of the ocean, big figure. He came up like a human on the ocean shore. And this was Vibhishan. Vibhishan is Ravana's brother. Vibhishan, yeah. When Ravana was killed, Lord Ram gave him the Lanka to rule under the ocean for 1 millennium or something. So he came out of the ocean to take darshan of Lord Chaitanya. So as he was going, this Brahmana approached him, He said, oh, you're Lord Jagannath, I didn't realize. And Vibhishan said, in the beginning he said, I am who I am, you are who you are. And people in India try and disturb you unnecessarily, The Brahmana said, actually I was praying to Lord Jagannath, and I made a vow that if I don't get his mercy, I'm going to enter the ocean and leave my body. Vibhishan said, that's not a good idea. You follow me, I'll take you to Lord Jagannath. At that time, Lord Chaitanya was in the Gambhira with his devotees. And Lord Chaitanya wasn't very happy. Devotees could sense something was wrong. So Lord Chaitanya told Govinda, there's 2 Brahmanas coming to me. You allow them to come in. So one is going to come right near me, and another one's going to be at a distance. So Vibhishan approached Lord Chaitanya very closely, and the other Brahmana stayed at a distance. And Lord Chaitanya told Vibhishan, actually, you look after this Brahmana. You're his good fortune. So then as they were leaving, the poor Brahmana asked Vibhishan, who was that? I thought you were going to take me to see Lord Jagannath. Who is this sannyasi? And Vibhishan said, this is Lord Jagannath. He came as a sannyasi. So the poor Brahmana told Vibhishan, allow me to go and see Lord Chaitanya. So they came back. Lord Chaitanya asked why you came back. The poor Brahmana said, actually I'm too much suffering in the material, I just want to surrender to you. So Lord Chaitanya said, you pray to Lord Jagannath to have opulence. So Vibhishan will look after you. At the end of your life, then you can come back to me. Because he held a material desire, he stopped his going closer to Lord Chaitanya faster. So from this story we can learn that if you maintain material desires, it'll take a longer time to go back to Godhead. So as mentioned, it's purport to 419, how person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. So, the other example is of Gop Kumar. Now, Gop Kumar, he didn't have much knowledge. But he had a mantra given to him by a guru. So he was chanting his mantra. So Gop Kumar was telling his story to a Brahmana who was given his mantra. But he didn't have full knowledge. This was his thing. So Gop Kumar took a long time to go back to Godhead. He went to the higher planets. First he became a king of South India. And then he became king of heaven. Then he became Brahma. Became king of Jagannath Puri. In all these situations, he wasn't satisfied. Even he went to Vaikuntha, he wasn't satisfied there. The last place he went to Ayodhya, he wasn't satisfied there. He went to Dwarka, and the Yadavas, they told him, why are you wearing this dress of a cowherd boy? Put on the opulent dress like us. But he couldn't change his dress. So then he was asked to come back to Bhoma Vrindavan, earthly Vrindavan, and do Sankirtan. And when he did that from the earthly Vrindavan, then he entered Goloka Vrindavan. He was doing Sankirtan, and somehow or other he fell into the Yamuna, and all of a sudden he got by some ship took him to Goloka. Some plane took him to Goloka like that. So for us, we are practicing Krishna consciousness. We're going through Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and everything is there for us. We just have to take it seriously. And in this lifetime, we can go back to Godhead. That's it. So the process is very simple for those who are simple. But it's complicated for the complicated or the crooked. So we have to become simple-hearted and practice the process. And then we'll see how Krishna is reciprocating with us in different situations, in our services. Yeah. Because preaching Krishna consciousness is not easy, it's a thankless task. And Prabhupada gives an example, he says, just like you train an animal in a circus, it takes time. To train a new devotee, it takes time. But the process is so nice that you feel the reciprocation of Krishna very easy coming. It's just we have to understand the knowledge. This is the point. Like he says in this purport, that if you have the knowledge, then you feel satisfied. You're doing it proper understanding. Because Rupa Goswami says, Sruti Smiti Purana Adi Panchatattrak Bindi Vidya Vijaya Kalpate, that devotional service which is not in line with Shruti and Smriti will cause disturbance in society. So this is why we have to understand scriptures and then be in association of devotees, and then progress is already there, just time is separating before we leave our bodies. That's it. Any comments or questions? How long were you in Croatia for? Oh, Croatia, right? Slovakia. How many years? Any realizations of reciprocation with deities or anything? No? Yeah, so like that we see how, but the higher taste was there, right? And then who asked you to come here? Who asked you to come here? Jananda Maharaj. We can see how Krishna is guiding to Guru Sadhu Shastra. Yeah. So we can see how We just have to be practice tolerance and patience. Krishna doesn't work according to our plan; he works according to his plan. So there was one instance, I think, where was it? Jayadev, he used to do help devotees a lot in preaching and other things, to do regressions and other things. So in the early years of ISKCON, there was a parade going down central London, and some people were there who were attacking devotees. So Jayadev, he got in and attacked them. But he was alone. With him, by himself, he could have easily been injured. So two other devotees came in and they said, you don't need to deal with this, we'll deal with it, you go. So from this we can see how Krishna protects the devotees. One time it happened, there was a Western guest here. They asked me to show him, so we went to Prabhupada's rooms. So I showed him everything about Prabhupada's life, everything. So one devotee gave me a picture of Nrsingadev, the picture we have here, So I could see he wasn't fully accepting, he was asking questions, this and that. Once I gave him that picture, he said, I accept whatever you say. I don't want to be in that situation like in this picture. So we can see how Krishna is there. He's definitely there. I didn't see him come back after that. So stories are there like that to show how Krishna is there through Lord Nrsingadev, or directly he's guiding devotees in different situations. He's protecting them from falling away from Krishna consciousness. He's protecting their bhakti in terms of how to become strong in their spiritual practices. But it's all about learning to surrender seriously. Prabhupada says, for those who are seriously surrendering, Krishna consciousness is easy. For those who are not seriously surrendering, it's more difficult. So you have to be serious, that's it. Then it becomes easy. Antaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. No, put it in the corner. Give me the light on, right? These flowers, you want them or shall I?